Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 160 of Lonely Gods. I am your host, David, and I'm joined here, as always, by Kate.
Oh,
Hi, Kate.
it's me. Hi. It's oh Christ. Hi, Dave.
Hi. What's up, Kate?
Hi. A few things.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's our sweet, sexy news segment.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a dream the other day that somehow I ended up in McDonald's with the Top Gear guys, and I was upset that Jeremy Clarkson was not being sufficiently mean to me. I guess I wanted the full experience
I see.
of him being an asshole. I guess they're not the Top Gear guys anymore, are they? They all got fired.
Yeah, I don't know. I never watched Top Gear.
Anyway, how are you?
Good. None of that's Doctor Who news.
Oh, do you want some of that, do you?
Yeah, do we have any?
We have a few items, yes. Yes, we
Interesting.
do. Possibly the biggest news, at least for me, is that the monthly series will now be splitting the 5th, 6th, and 7th Doctors, not into their own series, but each one will have their own producers instead of just having one producer who does the entire monthly series.
I see that being good or bad.
Well, I think it's a good idea because I think it takes the pressure off one person doing 13 episodes a year.
Yeah.
And I also think that it'll help make each doctor feel distinct, and hopefully each producer will have their own sort of vision for their doctor they're
I
working with.
completely
Yeah.
agree. The only issue I'd see is that's also how you run into just the sameness.
Well, yeah, I worry about that too, but I think that's less an issue of having their own producers and more just I think people should be rotated off after a certain amount of time.
Well, yeah, like do we know who produces the Fourth Doctor Adventures?
I have
Will
actually
it
no
work
idea. I think it's
perfect?
David Richardson, but he produces a lot of Big Finish's non-monthly stuff. I think he also like produces like Companion Chronicles and I think Early Adventures. So I mean, at least in that case, I don't think creativity is necessarily the problem. Um,
Alrighty then.
Although with Fourth Doctor stuff, they had a sale on Fourth Doctor stuff this weekend as we're recording this. And in the article for it, they specifically said Fourth Doctor Adventures, designed to recapture the '70s feel. So I mean, I guess the point of the series is to be more of the same, which is weird. Maybe it feels different to people who were watching the show at the time. But to me, I kind of wish that they would, push Tom in a little bit more challenging direction. But yeah, anyway, so I think that splitting the producing duties will be a good idea in the long run, and I think it'll help make everything feel distinct and give each thing its own direction.
Are we actually going to feel the effects of it until after we finish the Fifth Doctor?
Probably not. I'm not. I mean, especially because we're listening in like the Doctor's timeline and not release order. But still,
Which is why I said that too, because I feel like the first thing the first of the new direction we're going to experience is when we go back to listen to a brand new Fifth Doctor audio.
We already have a couple of those in the back pipe, actually.
To go back to?
Yes.
Oh, geez. Already?
There's a couple that are set during the Fifth Doctor and Nyssa solo adventures, but we already passed them, and I'm like, I don't want to loop back around now, so.
I suppose that's the smart thing to do.
Anyway, I'm pretty sure like Paul McGann, I think, has had like kind of his own producer for a while too. So I think, but one thing I'm curious about is I think Scott Hancock is the one who's going to be taking over for 5, and I'm kind of curious because 6 and 7 basically are wide open. You can do ongoing plot lines with them very easily because they don't necessarily have a definitive endpoint on TV. There's a lot of gap between the Sixth Doctor's last TV story and Sylvester McCoy in a wig falling over, and there's an unspecified length of time between the last story of the classic TV series and the TV movie.
Really,
so
they don't break. Was there a break between 6 and 7 like that? I didn't know that. I knew there was between 7 and 8.
Well, there wasn't.
But I didn't know
there wasn't
7.
There wasn't necessarily a break as such, but Tom Baker or Colin Baker by the higher up BBC people because they didn't like him, and he did not come back to film his regeneration. So his last story does not end with him regenerating. It's just the season ended, and when you came back, Sylvester McCoy in a wig fell down and hit his head, and he's the Seventh Doctor. So there's no, like, you can cram as many stories in between those two things as you want. There's absolutely nothing restraining you from doing.
That's awful.
Yeah, it is awful. So, but like I said, there's nothing restraining them from doing as many Sixth Doctor stuff as they want, and same with 7. So, but I'm curious as to, like, somebody who's taking over as producer of the Fifth Doctor series, because you have to fit it in around, clearly established TV continuity. It's like, I kind of wonder, like, how easily he'll be able to give the Fifth Doctor audios a direction in a certain feel to them when he can't really do any long arcs.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting. Other shitty news. Other shitty news. River Song Volume 5 or Volume 4, I should say. No, Volume 5 has been announced. I guess Tom Baker will be in it because whatever.
The last TV River Song story was actually really good.
Well, I know, but I think it's I don't know. I'm curious to see how she functions without the Doctor, because like every box set she's had, she's been going backwards.
She seems like if she's without the Doctor, she's a much more interesting character because he limits her. He puts more moral limiters on her. She seems like she kind of is more of a Han Solo type than than like the Doctor.
Yeah,
like she does the right thing. Agree. She plays fast and loose with the rules, so it could be interesting. But having not seen any of it.
Well, I just think that, like, her first box set had McGann, her second one had 6 and 7, and then her third one is going to have Peter Davison in it, and then her fourth one, I guess, is going to have Tom Baker, and it's like, I don't know. It's just I think
that is weird. Okay, I'll give you that. That is weird.
She keeps going backwards through the Doctors, and it's like none of them up before Tennant can actually know who she is. So there always has to be some kind of fuckery about. And I don't know if that's worth it. And granted, I haven't listened to them either, but I've been holding out hope for her to cross over with Benny at some point because two saucy archaeologists, Anyway, the last thing I had is that the worst kept secret Big Finish has ever had is out, and they've finally announced that they're doing box sets with Jenny, the Doctor's daughter, and everyone knew. Everyone knew. For months, everybody knew because that leaked like a sieve, and they couldn't announce it, I guess, because their hands were tied with what the BBC wanted to do or whatever. And so it was under wraps for months, even though everybody knew.
In the most recent season?
I don't think so.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah. I mean,
does she show up on TV, or is this just an original?
No. She's the Doctor's daughter from The Doctor's Daughter, the David Tennant episode.
Oh, duh.
Where his daughter is played by his wife, and she is pretty hot. I'll give him that.
I forgot about that.
But, well, yeah, exactly. I don't really, I mean, I guess in the end she does kind of take off into space on her own. So, but like, I don't know. I feel like I've seen comments on forums that I agree with that it kind of makes things seem a little too crowded right now. With River and this and New Earth is happening, and there's you know, Benny and Charlie has her own series now, and it's like there's so many people running around time and space. It's like, how do you make them all feel distinct? How do you make each one tell a different kind of story? And so it's been suggested that maybe this, you know, Jenny would, you know, make a better character or be put to better use as a part of an ensemble in a different series other than getting her own. But I kind of think that's unlikely because the news blurb for it says that Georgia Tennant, who is starring as Jenny, is like associate producer of the series. So, I mean, I guess it's almost more of a vanity project.
Yeah, I suppose.
So, I don't know. Well, I mean, I do think there's merit to making sure that all the spin-offs have their own feel to them. Because, I mean, especially in the early days, like, you know, Dalek Empire and Gallifrey, like, they both tell stories that are very different than what you get in the monthly Doctor Who.
Yeah, I mean, that is true.
So, you know, I just agree with the sentiment that if you're going to have a spin-off, there has to be a reason to do it other than this character is popular. They have to offer something that the other series don't.
Yeah, I suppose we'll have to, which is wait and see.
Yeah, we will. I mean, I guess with Jago and Lightfoot being unfortunately over now, they'll have to come up with something else to fill the gap. But I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of suspicious, at least with the new series side of things, that right now they're kind of trying a shotgun approach and things will be canceled, and the strong will survive.
We shall see.
Maybe we will. We'll see.
So, is that it for Doctor Who news?
No, there's one more sad thing. Patty Russell has passed away. She was a director on the classic series. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what she did. Invasion of the Dinosaurs was one. I know that.
I like that one.
Yeah. So she was, I believe, the first female director on Doctor Who. Not that that really matters, but yeah, I mean, it's always sad when somebody connected with a classic show passes away, especially because like so much of the early years are missing right now. It's just a bloody shame. Probably going to sound insensitive for this, but she was on a few of the DVD commentaries, and she always seemed kind of in a bad mood that she was there, and I was kind of like, oh, well, all right, go away then. But anyway, it was like the moderator had to keep like coaxing answers out of her, and they were always pretty short and terse, and I'm like, oh, okay, you know, but
yeah.
Anyway, speaking of female directors, I assume you want to talk about Snakedance.
Well, I didn't know that was related, but yes, I do want to talk about Snakedance because that's what I assume that also means you have no personal Doctor Who anecdotes. You haven't watched any more.
No, I'm gonna get into the second half of season 7 soon, but our evenings have been slightly busy around here lately, so.
I technically have a Doctor Who anecdote in the sense that
right.
It's not that much, just in the sense that I was watching Snakedance, and Faith was on the couch, not really paying attention, and just in the middle of the third episode, she just looks at me and she just says, "This show is weird."
Yeah, it is.
Which is true, and she doesn't really watch as much of the classic stuff, but she does watch Doctor Who and has seen quite a bit of it. But it was a very accurate observation, especially for this story.
Yeah, it's weird.
So yes, let's talk about Snakedance, which is our, of course, return to the Fifth Doctor's television stories.
What's that?
TV, it's this thing where a picture lights up on a screen and presents images instead of audio.
Eye stories instead of ear stories. I see.
Eye stories. Well, eyes and ear stories. It's in one.
Oh, wow.
You don't have to think of the pictures. It shows you the pictures along with the words.
What an age of decadence we live in. Although I find that the pictures that I imagine are a lot higher budget than the ones that come on the TV screen.
Though that is said, though, this was another episode where I turned to Faith and said, "You know, that snake looks way better than the one in Conan the Barbarian."
That snake looks way better than the one in Kinda, and that's really sad.
I know, but it's also, I mean, it's also said that this BBC TV production did a better snake than an American movie.
Well, you know, it's I guess it's where they put their effort in. You know, the snake didn't really matter to Conan that much, but you know, the snake's kind of the whole point of Snakedance.
Snakedance, yes, yes, it is. So the TARDIS arrives on Manusa, which this is the same planet, right?
It is not. No.
Oh, okay, it's not.
No, the other planet was called Devaloka.
Okay.
The Mara has been like sleeping in Tegan's mind all this time. It has like influenced her to bring the TARDIS here to its homeworld so that it can restore itself, basically.
So, but this, the Mara are part of the legends of this empire. What's it called? I would guess it's just the Manusan Empire.
Well, it's like there was an empire that fell and was ruled by the Mara and then 500 years ago the Mara was defeated, and so now it's become like this.
The empire was ruled by the Mara, right? Then the Manusans over.
Yes.
Which I don't like them using Sumerian because it sounds too much like Sumerian, which is real. They
probably did that on purpose.
I didn't like it. It didn't matter. And
I think that's just something to do with this writer's, you know, writing. It's like we heard his Lost story not too long ago, Children of Seth, where he was using things like Bizan as character names that are a little on the nose, you know.
Yeah.
So
I
like Children of Seth though.
Yes, and
I don't think you did.
It was whatever. I didn't love it.
All right.
So finally, the shoe's on the other foot, and Tegan's the one under mind control.
Yay! Share the wealth.
Tegan has relapsed and is once again under control of the Mara, which at least was kind of set up already in Kinda.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the audio, if I remember right, the audios leading up to this actually do have a few nuggets of like Tegan's talking about having bad dreams or something. So
I don't recall. Unfortunately,
there's some additional foreshadowing if you really want to go that way.
Yes. So the doctor's trying to figure out what's wrong with Tegan and then how to stop the Mara. Meanwhile, during on this planet, they're in the middle. The civilization is in the middle of a festival celebrating the banishment of the Mara from 500 years earlier. And since the Federator, who is the ruler of this empire, is absent, his son is going to have the major role in the celebration, Lon.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Lon. How to put this nicely? Lon looks like he vacuum sucked a cup to his face.
Because his lips are so red?
Because his lips are so red, and he's so pale otherwise.
And he's wearing the weirdest outfits this whole time.
Well, his first outfit when he's lying around at home looks like something a Roman would wear. And then his next outfit is more like a swashbuckler kind of outfit that I like more. And then his third outfit for the ceremony later is like this weird toga thing. And he's that actor actually went on to become a pretty famous British TV actor. So anytime he's on a chat show nowadays, they always roll out that outfit to embarrass him.
Well, the toga?
The toga thing for the ceremony, yeah.
The toga that anachronistically looked like the 90s vomited all over it?
Yeah. You know, that.
That thing.
Yeah, that thing. The thing where he looks like a complete and total tit.
At least it's like a ceremonial toga, so it's like, okay.
He looks like a ceremonial tit. Right.
That thing looks really stupid, but at least it's like not normal everyday wear, though his normal clothes don't look much better. Well, better, but not much.
I don't know. Like I said, the swashbuckling thing is fine. One was
fine. It was the other. It was the one in the middle is fine. It's the other two.
It's the Roman lounge affair.
Yes.
Yes. Well, because there's the showman from the bazaar who has kind of like almost a pirate outfit too. He's got like a tricorn hat.
See, the outfits in this story are very odd. It feels like
they are
10 different. Like it feels like the outfits from 10 different time periods from 10 different civilizations across the world. Like the bazaarman almost looks like someone. I don't know, like maybe like Mongolian almost. Like it's a very weird outfit.
Yeah, and then there's the chief archaeologist guy, whatever the hell his name is, Amiibo, or
he's wearing the pink robes and like the first
the pink robes and a big Russian fur hat.
That was because I messaged Kate when I was watching this yesterday. Specifically, I said the outfits in the story are weird, and it was when he came in wearing the pink, or they're not pink robes, but they're pink trimmed robes. But very
even his fur hat has a pink accent to it.
Yes,
it's very fabulous.
Yes, he's a very odd character too.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So, the Doctor's trying to stop the Mara from reappearing, and in his search for Tegan and information, he discovers that there's a legend that states the Mara will return, which this draws the eye of Lon and makes him more interested because he's just a little shit for brains.
He has a shit brick, but Tegan, possessed Tegan, like summons him out in the middle of the night to her fucking cave lair and possesses him too. Yeah. Or thralls him or whatever to also be evil, which really doesn't make that much of a difference.
And then we get Screaming Snake Skull.
Oh, that's always cool.
Yeah, that is always cool. It was a nice effect.
It's pretty metal. But yeah, so the Doctor's like ranting like a crazy person about how you have to stop the ceremony so the Mara doesn't come back. But the current archaeologist thinks it's all, superstition and hokum, and so regards the Doctor as a complete nut. And I mean, we've seen this kind of disbelieving authority figure in Doctor Who many, many, many times, but I like this guy because it's not like an extraordinary event from him. He makes it sound like he gets crackpots saying this shit all the fucking time. Like, this is like every fucking year with this festival, there's some asshole coming in ranting about nonsense. And the Doctor is just the latest one, He
was interesting.
Yeah.
Because but he also just seemed to, he loves his job but hates what it entails, is what it felt like. Like, he likes being in the position and being this authoritarian figure on this subject, but doesn't
he has a genuine passion for the archaeology aspect of it. He just doesn't like dealing with the people.
I like he invites them to dinner and gets interrupted by the Doctor, who's then carried out and thrown in jail.
Yeah. With possibly the coolest jail set the Doctor Who series has ever had.
Really?
I think so.
You thought so?
I thought it was a really cool set.
It was a pretty good jail set.
It was a good jail set because the walls sort of lean out at an angle and it gives it a nice, I don't know, strange look to it.
But, so we come to find out that there is a giant crystal called the Mind's Eye that is to be used during this ritual that the Mara are going to use because its only presence is in the mind of Tegan, is going to use this crystal, which can reshape thoughts into reality, to focus its energy and retake physical form.
Right. So yeah, because like the crystal is in the snake caves where the ceremony is held. There's this crystal. There's like this big fresco or frieze or whatever it's called on the wall with the snake, and there's an indentation where the crystal would normally go. And the legends say that if the crystal's put back, then the Mara will come back, and that's bad. But because Lon's under the influence, he wants that, obviously. So yeah, the plan is that this year, for the first time ever, they're going to put the real crystal back there. Because what could possibly go wrong?
Well, at the insistence of Lon and Samara, of course.
Yeah, that's fine.
But the doctor discovers this by checking out the Little Mind's Eye, which is a smaller version of the crystal, which she manages to focus his thought and make it glow, proving that if he had a larger one with more energy,
it could do something.
Reshape. Yeah. So the right hand of the archaeologist is assisting the doctor and Nissa because the previous head of the archaeology department believes all of this stuff and disappeared.
Yeah. He disappeared. Run off into the desert to be a fucking hippie hermit that meditates all day, gets high on snake venom. I have to say, the assistant, what I don't forget his name, but like the Cella. Wow, that's a terrible name. He's wearing a lovely dress made out of bed sheets. It's really awful.
It took me a minute to realize whether or not it was a man or a woman because
he's got sort of an ambiguous curly poofy 80s hair,
and he is wearing a dress.
Yeah, could just be an ugly girl, but. Later on, when he's actually sitting down, you can see that it's more of a robe. He does have pants on under it, but yeah. Still. Pretty gay.
It's just the outfits. All of the outfits are weird and don't seem to go together.
Yeah, that's the problem, I think. It was because it's not that I think taking influence from real world cultures and blending them into something for an alien world or a future world is perfectly fine, and it's a good idea, I think, because it, instead of being complete nonsense, it gives the viewer something to kind of some familiarity to latch onto. But the problem here is that they don't blend at all. It feels more of a patchwork kind of one thing here and there, more than something that was having different elements that are then unified into a particular look.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's just odd. It's more distracting than anything. Just because I feel like a bunch of my comments for this episode was, "Whoa, look at that outfit! Where the fuck did that come from?"
I mean, you can look back. You can look past the space clothes. For me, the most distracting outfit was Nissa's new outfit because it's just awful. She comes out the first scene of the episode basically, and she's like, "Oh, doctor, look at my new outfit." And he's like, "Yeah, whatever. I've got shit to do." And she keeps like being like, "Look at me, look at me," and it's like you're wearing like checks and stripes and all this horrible things clashing with each other, and it's just, God, what have you done to Nissa's clothes?
I don't know. They were too focused on Tegan this time.
I guess so. Not that I'm complaining. Tegan deserves focus. Lord knows that. But
she does, and she does a great job this episode, both being herself as, scared and confused. And I mean, honestly, terrified, and then playing the Mara as well. Like,
yeah, I agree. I think that it's the kind of sort of focus that the show very rarely gave Tegan. And it does her credit, and I always maintain that if there had been more episodes like Kinda and Snakedance, at least in terms of character work with Tegan, then people wouldn't hate her so much outside of the audios.
Yeah, I think she did good. I think she's progressing better in TV and the audios. She just was so obnoxious at first, which it didn't help that it was like she was there and being obnoxious,
and Adric
was also there and always obnoxious,
and always yeah. No, it was. I also think too that like I think the difference is too that because we've detoured into the audio so much, where either Tegan is gone or she's better. I think we're more predisposed to kind of give her some credit and give her a chance. I think if we were watching TV straight through, I'm not really sure how much our impressions of her would change because we're still busy being mad at her. Yeah, so you're gay.
So, but that's about it for this story. I think the real Crystal shows up. The Mara tries to take form, but the Doctor manages to stop them.
Yeah, because he's communed with the snake venom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Overall, I thought it was a pretty good story.
Yeah, I liked it.
Not mind blowing or anything, but fun, entertaining throughout. Beyond the weird outfits.
Yeah, one of the big strengths of the story, I think, is that it has a good sense of place and of world building, despite the stupid outfits. It feels somehow like a very real culture, and I think they did a great job with some of the studio exteriors. Like the bazaar set has a lot of people bustling to and fro, which is usually like Doctor Who usually can't afford that, and the streets are empty. But this felt like it was a real place that people lived and worked, and the same thing too. Just little touches like with the Snake Festival when they're taking the model snake through town for the festival, like the Chinese dragon, and there's the little imps, the guys in imp costumes flopping around, taking a coin from you. Like it's little touches like that makes it feel like a fleshed out place.
Definitely.
With its own traditions. Now, I don't think it's as good as Kinda. And it also it doesn't have the same kind of strange dreams and visions and like mindscape stuff that Kinda has. There's Tegan's dream of the snake cave at the beginning. But other than that, it's a much more straightforward kind of story. But I liked the weird nonsense in Kinda, and I also liked Adric's hilariously bad escape attempt in the fucking robot, whatever the hell that was.
Oh yeah.
Comedy gold, and this episode obviously does not have that, so points off. But yeah, I think I could have done a little bit more with the outside the box spooky stuff. But there's definitely a good sequel, and definitely plenty of scary things in it, like the snake skull shattering out of the crystal ball, and with the fortune teller too, who is hilarious because she's like totally open. It's like, oh yeah, I gaze into my crystal ball, and then I just make shit up. Whatever they want to hear, they're paying me, right? So.
I like. Well, it's the same thing with I like the bazaar guy too, because he's selling entrance to a house of mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's first talking along, he's like, "What is it?" He's like, "It's just distortion mirrors, sir. Just distortion mirrors. Just a game. I didn't realize it was you." He doesn't know that he's like the prince or whatever.
Right. Yeah. I like the showman guy. We should have had more of him. Actually, he's actually played the actor who plays him is Elizabeth Sladen's husband.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. He's good. I liked him. My only real issue with this is like I said, sometimes the costume choices are distracting, which seems like a shallow thing, but it actually does kind of because you're too busy looking at like, what the fuck is this to focus on the drama. But I think, it's a fairly strongly written episode, and it does feel like more of a slow burn, and it's not really till part 4 where things really start to come to a head. But that's pretty, I think, typical for this era of Doctor Who. And the climax is good, like that ceremony when everybody but the Doctor is paralyzed by fear, and the way that the Mara tries to stop him from killing it by using Tegan's like childhood help me voice. I think that's pretty creepy.
Like there were some really good aspects of the story, such as those. So what's
overall,
on the list?
Good.
Overall, good. Yeah.
Overall, definitely. Good. Yeah.
So what's on the list for next time?
The fuck is on the list for next time? Next time we're back to audio.
I figured.
For 1 week only. We'll be listening to the Peterlee Massacre, which is from the monthly series and is the conclusion to the trio of audios that began with Waters of Amsterdam and also included Aquitaine. And we'll also be listening to a short trip called The King of the Dead. So pucker your butts and get ready for that.
Excellent. We will be back next time with those audio stories. Bye, everyone.